if somebody is actually inquiring with 6 or 8 other hair and makeup artists, like what is really separating you from them other than your aesthetic? Because nowadays, so many people are working on their aesthetic, they're taking classes, taking courses, and the thing that separates you is your brand values, what you stand for, your company culture, and what people really know about you when it comes to your reputation. So for us, talking a little bit about diversity and inclusion, talking a little bit about accepting all types of love. We work with same-sex couples all the time, and just really standing out in a way to bring some personality to our brand.
Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get real answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. My name is FIB Robinson, and I'm a makeup artist, beauty educator, and the creator of Friends in Beauty. I created Friends in Beauty to support like-minded creatives just like you on their quest to connect, network, and build genuine relationships within the beauty community. Join me every week as me and my special guests reveal the keys to success and longevity in the beauty industry, and most importantly, have fun while doing it. You ready? Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty, FIB Robinson. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I am so happy to have you here, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and in good health. If you are a friend in beauty, I welcome you to join the Friends in Beauty Facebook community. If you're looking for a community of like-minded, ambitious friends in beauty to virtually connect with, network, and share resources, then click the link down below in the show description to join us in the Facebook community, and I'll be there to welcome you with open arms. Also, let's get social. Follow Friends in Beauty on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty. Additionally, the Friends in Beauty podcast is available on several platforms. We're on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google, YouTube, you name it, we are there. And whatever platform you are listening from right now, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning into the Friends in Beauty podcast. I appreciate it more than you know. And I would love it even further if you took the time to leave a 5-star rating, a review, a like, a comment, a share, a subscribe, or something to let me know how you feel about the Friends in Beauty podcast. Additionally, Friends in Beauty is now on Patreon. So for as little as $3 a month, you can support the Friends in Beauty podcast. And there are also several tiers available that unlock Patreon exclusive content just for you, like behind the scene content of the Friends in Beauty podcast, bonus interview clips, a monthly Ask Me Anything, discounts, and so much more. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'll leave the link down below in the show description for that as well. Also, if you'd like to stay connected even further, join the Friends in Beauty mailing list tribe. They are the first to know about all things Friends in Beauty, and I send out different resources and tips throughout the week. So if that's something that you're interested in, join us over there. And last but not least, listen up. The most important thing is to share the Friends in Beauty podcast with your other friends in beauty, your family, your friends, anybody that you think could benefit from the information that is being shared. Share away to help me grow the Friends in Beauty community. Now, on this episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast, I welcome Bridal Beauty business growth coach Jasmine Jones to the Friends in Beauty guest chair. Jasmine is a licensed cosmetologist born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina. She started her solo freelance beauty business in 2014 at the age of 19 to become financially independent and shifted into full-time bridal beauty agency ownership at the age of 24. She expanded her bridal beauty business across the Low Country and added more freelance bridal hairstylists and makeup artists to her 100% mobile bridal beauty agency that focuses on natural beauty, diversity and inclusion, and celebrating all types of love. After meeting with other bridal beauty professionals, wedding planners, and photographers who would inquire about coffee dates to chat business and expansion, Jasmine realized that branching off into the coaching field was the best next step. She educates on topics around sustainability, systems and automation, and strategic relationship-based marketing that now allows her private coaching clients to expand their team and revamp their back-end systems to protect their time, income, and energy as they continue to grow their brands. I had such an amazing time chatting with Jasmine. I did not even want to let her go, okay? I must say, I really, really love how the Friends in Beauty podcast and social media has been connecting me to so many amazing people that I can share with you. In this interview, Jasmine shares why she loves Bridal so much and what led her to create her own bridal team, what it's like having to hire and fire freelancers as the boss, how to protect your energy as a creative, the biggest mistake bridal artists make with their inquiry forms, how to grow your business in phases, how to stand out as a bridal artist, rates, and so much more. Take out a pen and paper, take notes on your phone, whatever you have to do for this one, because Jasmine dropped lots of gems. Let's go ahead and jump into this amazing conversation with Jasmine. And if you prefer to watch our beautiful faces, then tune in on YouTube. Enjoy. Welcome to the Friends of Beauty podcast, Jasmine.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I am so excited to have you because I have to be honest. I went on like a rabbit hole and binged a lot of your content, and I'm like so obsessed now.
Oh my God.
I'm really excited to talk to you and learn more about you and your business for sure.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to talk.
Yes. So before we get started, let's start off with some icebreakers so the Friends of Beauty audience can get to know you outside of what you do professionally. So first one, just give us 3 random facts about you.
Oh, okay. So 3 random facts. I'm an introverted extrovert. I am a big nerd when it comes to holistic health, as well as, let's see, what's a good third one? I'm a middle child. I don't know.
Okay. Middle child.
Yeah.
You have like brothers and sisters, or what do you
All
have?
sisters.
Oh, girls. Wow. Okay. That's cool.
The house is crazy.
Is it true, like the middle, they always say like middle children always have like a little bit of a challenge with like being in the middle?
Yeah, it definitely made me more independent. So it's definitely helped there.
Gotcha. I have these random set of cards called pod decks. This is a would you rather and a what the heck. Which one do you want?
Let's do what the heck.
What the heck? Okay,
Yeah.
people always like what the heck. I think because it's green and it just feels more,
Yeah.
It feels more inviting. Let's see. Oh, this is cute. So if you could bring one famous person back from the dead, who would you pick?
Oh man. I would say Aaliyah.
Aaliyah, yeah.
Yes. Let's bring her back. She has some good gems.
You know what? And I always have like these thoughts of like if like Aaliyah was still alive or like Biggie, Tupac, those type of people, like what would they be doing right now? I'll always be wondering like stuff like that.
Same.
I remember when she passed away, I was like, I might be telling my age, but I was going into like my 10th grade year in high school when that happened. I was like so devastated. It was just like so weird and random. Like,
yeah.
She's
my favorite. She's still my favorite.
I like that one. What do people always tell you that you're good at aside from what you do professionally?
Oh, I would say, well, I guess it kind of correlates to professionally, but I have always been the friend that people come to for therapy sessions. Like, girl, let me just tell you what's going on. Right. And I just need you to give me some feedback. They always tell me that I give feedback in a way that's non-judgmental, in a way that doesn't make them shame themselves. And I feel like that is definitely something that is very needed in the space, especially in social media today, because it's very easy to just get into that comparison hole and like, what's going on with my life? And then it's like, okay, you know what? I'm actually doing the thing. Okay. So yeah.
I like that. You give advice in a way that doesn't make them feel shamed. I like that you said that. That's very nice. This is the one that people love. When is the last time that you did something for the first time?
Oh, I'll say on my birthday. So my birthday was Halloween Eve, so October 30th. And my husband took me out to a restaurant and we had, what is it called? Steak tartare. So it was raw steak. That might sound like extremely like disgusting to some people, but we had raw steak and it had like a little quail egg on it. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna try it out. It was actually really good.
Okay. I'm here for trying out new things. You just never know.
Right?
It sounds weird, but you might end up liking it.
Right? I was like, it looks interesting, but I'm not gonna judge it off that. Let's get a little piece And I was like, okay, this is it right here.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
What else did you do?
Oh man, massage, because you definitely need that, especially working in the beauty industry. Some time for yourself. I got my hair done. I have my gorgeous wig on today, but I got a silk press. My amazing afro got a nice little haircut that it desperately needed. So just
Okay.
a overall treat me day.
I like that. Okay, okay. And well, not when, where is the last place that you traveled to for vacation?
Oh, the honeymoon. So I got married in August of this year, and we went to Asheville, North Carolina. We love the mountains, just traveling in the just hiking and sightseeing. So that was the last place.
Okay, I love that. And the name of your business, Alter Image. So if you weren't the CEO of Alter Image, what else could you see yourself doing?
You know what? It's gonna sound so random, but being a preschool or a kindergarten teacher, I love the little kids. Just working with them and just seeing how expressive they are, how their imagination just takes them anywhere. Being able to just like help them kind of like mold and shape their self-esteem. I feel like that's kind of when the self-esteem, the self-image, it starts to like have an effect on how they're showing up in their personality. So that is definitely one thing that I always could see myself doing with the little kitties.
Okay, I love that. I love that. Thanks for sharing that. The
Yeah.
kids, I feel like you can learn so much from children, even
Yeah.
if you're just observing them and not like necessarily hands-on, but you can learn so much from being around children. Just good, like the imagination and just like how just observing how they react to learning like new things and that excitement that they have is
Oh,
really
yeah.
cool.
Absolutely.
And they have no limits. Like just being around kids, I realized like how much limitations that we put on children, and then you realize how many limitations are put on yourself
Mhm.
based off of what people think you should be able to do. But kids, they could do a lot of things.
Oh yes, definitely. I was looking at something the other day on Instagram, and it was like a bug kind of like went by the little girl, and she was like, "Oh no, it's a bug," and then the mom freaked out, and then the little girl was like, "Oh snap, should I be freaking out as well?" So
Exactly.
that is so true. They're just like little sponges.
Absolutely. So, what inspired you to become a hairstylist?
You know what? I'm a tomboy at heart, and I started to do my own hair when I was in third grade. So since I'm the middle girl, my mom had no idea how to do hair. So I actually went to school and I had some questionable hairstyles, and the kids were not nice to me. So I was like, you know what? I don't want these kids to laugh at me anymore. They're not going to talk about my hair. So I'm going to figure out how to do my own hair.
Mhm.
So it started out with just me trying to figure out how to do my own hair, and then family members wanting me to do their hair. And then it just kind of stuck and it made sense. Like when I went into my senior year of high school, I already knew I'm going to be applying for some of the cosmetology schools in my area, and that's where I went. But what actually got me into the makeup side was when I was in cosmetology school. I was very set in the way of doing cuts, colors, highlights. And then I actually assisted for Charleston Fashion Week in my hometown. And I was backstage with about 40 hair and makeup artists, and just seeing hairspray and makeup brushes like getting tossed all over the place. I was like a little kid in heaven, like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So after I assisted there, that's when I really started to venture out and learning about the skin prep and color tones and blending, and that's really where it kind of led me into the bridal world.
Nice. So you do hair and makeup or just
Yeah,
do okay, so you
I
do
do both.
both.
Yeah.
How okay, so how is that? Because I know a lot of us, I do makeup only,
Mhm.
but there are times when they just want to hire one person to do
Mhm.
both. So do you think that people should know how to do a little bit of both or just stick to what you are passionate about?
I'll say a little bit of both. Stick to what you're passionate with, because if you know that you've always wanted to be a makeup artist since you were younger, if somebody tells you, hey, you're going to have to learn how to do, some hairstyles, it's not going to be as fun. I feel like it's going to start to feel like a chore.
Yeah.
But I feel like it kind of makes sense to what field you're working in. If you are working with one client and they just want to hire one person, then yes, maybe learn how to do some basic styles, some basic tools that you can have in your kit.
Yeah.
But I feel like you should definitely hone in and lean more into what you're most passionate about. So kind of a little bit of both.
Okay. So doing hair and makeup, were you doing hair and makeup for brides?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So what led you to ultimately want your own like bridal team?
Oh man. So to be honest, I love transparency. So when I first started my bridal business, it was just me. I was doing everything under the sun. I was doing freelance bridal, I was doing extensions, I was doing everything under the sun. And then what really led me to starting my own team was I was freelancing for about 3 companies. I had, a bajillion 9 to 5s. I actually had 5 jobs at one time. And I just had a self reflection moment of, Jasmine, you keep saying that you want to be financially independent, you want to be calling the shots. And in order for you to do that, you really have to step out on your own. But at that time, I had been getting, large booking requests because I had been building up my own business behind the scenes while I was freelancing and working 9 to 5s. I would clock out and then I would clock into my own business at like midnight until 5 until I had to go and to another event or location the next day. But I actually ended up having 5 girls to start out my team, and I just reached out to them through Instagram, and they are amazing. I didn't want to manage people, and that was the biggest thing that was kind of like holding me up and slowing me down, because I was just assuming so many things. This is what it would have to look like. I don't want to deal with egos. And once I really put that aside and found people who aligned with me, it just made sense. And I've been doing that ever since 2014 when I was a solo artist, and then 2018 when I shifted from solo to team owner.
Okay, okay. So why a focus on bridal? What is it that you enjoy about bridal so much?
I really love the flexibility of the hours. And for me, I love having my Monday, my Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays open so that I can do other things. The main things that I found out when I was working at these other jobs or for other people, I was getting scheduled, Sunday through Saturday. And I always felt like I never had time for myself. I didn't have time to grow my business. I didn't have time for family events, weddings, birthday parties. So the flexibility with bridal is really what got me excited about it. And I know people who are a little bit more seasoned in bridal, they probably feel the opposite. They probably feel like, oh, well, I'm always working every single Saturday, but you really get to dictate, okay, do I want to be on this Saturday or off next Saturday,
Right.
on this Saturday, off next Saturday. So that way that you have more control and you can start to plan ahead. So that's what I really enjoy about the bridal world and the flexibility of the scheduling.
Okay, I love that because I think somebody literally just texted me yesterday. I think it was like, "Do you do brides?" I was like, no, like no. I stepped away from doing bridal. I don't even know how long it's been. Like I have to know you at this point to do your wedding. I'll do the bridesmaids though.
Yeah.
Like I'll do the bridesmaids, but I have a friend. I always tell people who's a bridal artist in Tampa. Her name is Nikki McBride. Shout out to Nikki. She has a bridal team as well. But
Yes.
when she told, I can't even tell you word for word what she said, but when she told me the reason why she enjoyed doing bridal so much, I was like, they need you. They need somebody like you on their special day because I just do it because, I can do makeup and, you asked me to do it, but her response was like so profound into like the journey of just like, finding your true love and then walking down the aisle and getting them together and all that stuff. I was like, girl, they need you on their
Yes.
special day. So I kind of just took a step back from it. I never had like a bad experience with bridal. I always had like amazing women. But I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna just let the bridal artist handle that.
Yeah, it can be a lot sometimes. It can definitely be a lot. I feel like just like you were describing your friend Nikki, she sounds like she gives an amazing experience
Does.
and she really takes care of her clients. And that's what it's all about, just being able to kind of adapt to the client's personality, travel, be on location if you don't have a studio, and really just kind of not being a sponge to other people's personality, but really just reading in between the lines and giving them what they need so that they are comfortable and they can communicate, what it is that they're looking for so that they feel at ease. I feel like that's the biggest thing, just making them at ease.
Right, right. So what was the process for you in cutting down on all these jobs, these 5 jobs that you had to like finally just focus on your own thing?
It was definitely a process. It was a process for sure. I dealt with a lot of mindset struggles in the very early stages of my business because of like my upbringing environment. My mom, she was a single parent and she worked a million jobs to make sure that the lights stayed on, food was in the fridge. And what I always remembered was she was always hustling, doing whatever she needed to do. And I remember when I first started to work and have my own jobs, I was like, I'm going to hustle, I'm going to grind, make sure I have, my bank account is full and all of these things.
Right.
And I looked up one day and realized, like, why am I working all of these jobs? Like, is this necessary? Am I doing this because I think I have to? Or is this absolutely like mandatory? And once I kind of had that self-reflection and really asked myself those inner work questions so that I can actually see like what is actually going down deeper at the surface, I started to release the jobs that weren't necessarily paying that much. So I started off there, and then that gave me a little bit more time and space to use that space to work on my business. And then once business started to grow, I kind of like release and release. So it was definitely a process. And the mindset was definitely a process as well, but just like journaling and just being with my own thoughts to really see what is actually going on and what's really driving my decisions.
Right. I love that. I love that because sometimes we just get caught up in the rat race and forget.
It's so easy.
Yeah, it's so easy to remember, like, why am I doing this? Like, why do I have all these jobs?
Yes, absolutely.
So now, what is it like a typical, I guess, day or week look like in your life as a bridal team owner?
Yeah, so the days are different. I'm very big on routines and structure, but for my personality, I need a little bit of newness going on in my day. Otherwise, I will drive myself crazy by just repeating the same days over and over again. But mostly, I wake up, I do my meditation, I do a little bit of Reiki. I'm big into the energy work. Yes, and this morning I went to our a gym at our apartment. And then I just kind of like checked in, like, what do I need to do? I have 2 people that help me right now on the back end of my business. So I have somebody that helps me with social media and managing my email so that I can focus on clients, my brides, and making sure that all of those small details are getting put onto the calendar, making sure my team members have all of the details that they need for upcoming weddings. So those are the main things that I work on. So it's either like an admin day or a marketing day where I get cute and I'm out of the tomboy phase and I'm showing up and I'm doing my marketing and showing up in all the places that I need to be. So it kind of is flexible.
Yeah, I like that. So as a team owner now, are you still servicing brides too, or like providing the service? Or are you strictly like behind the scenes?
Yes. So I have transitioned myself out so much from when I moved. So I moved from Charleston to where I am now. I'm near Charlotte, North Carolina, but I live in Rock Hill. Nobody ever knows where Rock Hill is at, so I just tell them I live in Charlotte. But I now probably take 2 or 3 weddings a month, and before it was about like 8 weddings a month. All of the bookings that my team was on, I would be there. Now I have lead artists that can go out service a bride in their bridal party, and I only kind of do the owner requests now. I've been kind of going back and forth on, do I want to be on location or do I just want to be in the back end? And the more that I've kind of taken myself out of being on location, I was like, I'm missing my clients. I want to like do somebody's makeup. So I'll probably stick with like 2 weddings a month or 1 wedding a month until that no longer works for me. But for the time being, yes, I still do limited number of weddings.
Okay, I love that. And since you mentioned Reiki, I absolutely love that. I'm like level 1. I need to get my level 2.
Yes.
And my mom is a Reiki master, but one thing I posted on my social media recently was like cleansing your energy, like after dealing with, like when you're dealing with so many people, like in the bridal industry, like dealing with all these brides or dealing with like a group of bridesmaids,
Mm-hmm.
like how do you then go home and like release that energy? Because it was getting, I think I just came to this realization maybe within like the last year,
Mm-hmm.
that like I know a lot of us always say when we're doing a whole bunch of faces and stuff like that or hair, we come home and we're tired, you know what I'm saying? And I used to think that I was tired from actually doing makeup until I realized like, no, this is like I'm absorbing other people's
Mm-hmm.
energy. Like that's why I'm tired. So I have to come home and like, you know, do my thing. So how do you like, you know, cleanse your energy when you after dealing with so many people?
Yes. So this is so funny that you brought this up because I have been talking to my Instagram followers and I'm like, how are you guys feeling when you go and work a wedding? And people are like, I'm drained. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want my wine. I just want to sit on the couch and not do
Yes.
anything. And I definitely related to that because I found myself just constantly in the hustle and bustle, like, oh my gosh, let me pack my kit, let me get in the car, set up. All right, let's go, like getting the girls in and then making you like cleaning up and heading out. But what I found worked for me is having a practice before the wedding day. So, example, I have a wedding this week on Saturday or this week on Friday. So, on Thursday, I am going to be doing my yoga. I do yoga from this one girl on YouTube. Her name's Sarah Beth Yoga. Literally, I should have an affiliate link because I always recommend this one person. But she has yoga to like release tension, open up like your hip flexors where you can have a lot of, stuck emotions.
Yeah.
And that can really make your body tight, just feel dragged and drained down. So I do that practice before a wedding to really regulate my nervous system. And then the night that I come home from the wedding, I do my Reiki or I do another set of yoga. And this really helps me release any of those, conversations, any of the bad juju that maybe like try to attach itself to me, because I feel like a lot of beauty pros, we are empaths and we do kind of suck in everybody's emotions.
Yeah.
And if you are working a chaotic wedding or a chaotic event, if you don't have a practice to release that, that can build up in your body. And that's one of the main reasons why I love having my massages, just to move around that energy
Mm.
so that it's not like in my shoulders or in the back of my lower back or my
Right.
arms or wherever. So just finding a practice that really works for you, and that just comes to self-awareness to see like what works best for you, because everything isn't going to work for everyone. So that's what has helped with me.
Absolutely. Yes. Thanks for sharing that. Cause like
Yes.
man, we be out here just sucking up people's energy and then wondering why we want to quit. Like, no,
Yes.
it's
Oh
not
yes.
that. Yeah. So I know that you have expanded your team like tremendously since you started. So what is like the criteria that you're looking for as far as hiring people onto your bridal team?
Yes. So right now we service North and South Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia. Some parts of Tennessee, some parts of Georgia. And the main criteria for people to be on my team is you cannot have an ego. You have to be open and willing to learn. You have to be able to service all hair textures, all skin tones, and you also have to be very accepting and know how to kind of adapt to somebody's personality.
Mhm.
This sounds kind of complicated, but I feel like those are the core requirements that really help any bridal artist, if they're new, if they're seasoned, just be adaptable and really make that bride have the best day that she can have.
Mhm.
And with that, I have to figure out what my brand's values are so that I can find people who actually align with my company culture so that it made sense for the people who would come on.
Mhm.
And those are just some of the main things. So diversity, have a full range kit, know how to style hair for all textures. And of course, if they don't know, how to, adapt to different textures, then I do have different ways that I can train people in the back end through like my little education hub for my team members.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that too. How do you go about training your team if they're in like in different locations?
Yes. So before, what I was doing was I would go to each of the girls' houses and I would be like, find a model and I'm going to come to your house and we're going to do some signature styles. But now I have like a private Facebook group and I have this little Pinterest board where I just kind of pin some of our core makeup looks. This is one of the core, glowy looks for, tan skin, brown skin, chocolate skin. And those are some of the looks that I want them to practice. So if they go out and do their own model, they at least know, okay, this is the aesthetic. This is what's going to be cohesive to the brand. These are the styles that I need to learn. And they also have different tips when it comes to product usage, how to prep, how to be a little bit speedy, what services. So anything that I put in my little, my education hub for my team members.
Okay. Have you ever had to let somebody go?
Oh my gosh, yes, I
What?
have. I've only let one person go
Okay.
since 2018,
Okay.
and that it was a crazy experience because I was out of town and I'm very big on communication and my team knows me so well that they probably know, okay, she probably doesn't know that so and so is doing this right now. So I was doing a wedding for my husband's brother and we were in Iowa and I got a text message from one of my lead artists and she was like, "Hey girl, did you know about the situation today at the wedding?" And I was like, like
Right.
puts my hand on my chest, like, what do you mean? Like, what's going on? So one thing that I'm very big about is making sure that I check in with everybody. So that event, it had four stylists out there, and somebody brought an extra person who was not a hair or makeup artist. And I was like, absolutely not. We do not do that.
Right.
So I just kind of checked in with everyone, like, hey, did you hear any comments from the bridal party, from the bride? Did you hear anything? What was the vibe? What was the mood? Just so I can like gather, like, okay, what exactly was going on. So
Yeah.
then I actually went to her and I told her, like, that's not acceptable. This is not what we do. She knew that I was not going to be there that day. So I felt like she thought she can kind of get away with it. But I'm like, this is our bread and butter, not just for me, but for my stylists who are also working. So we can't have anything that jeopardizes the brand. So I had to let them go.
Snip, snip.
Yes, out the door.
Yeah, that is crazy. So on the coaching side, I know you also help other people, build and scale their businesses as well. So how do you help your clients on the coaching side?
Yes. So the clientele that I work with when it comes to the bridal beauty world is the booked and busy bridal beauty pro who feels like her personal life is taking a back seat because her business is running the show. This is also where I found myself before I found systems and workflows that really worked for how my brain operates. And the main thing is creating those systems. I became very analytical when I was learning about systems. So I'm big about strategy into the systems, not just the systems itself. So having a very intentional way to service your client from the inquiry phase to the booked behind the scenes client experience up into the wedding day. Because I feel like most bridal pros, we only focus on when we're servicing our client and we're spraying them with the elixir and the fan and the lashes and the light.
Right.
But your experience also starts once they book you. So that's where my biggest focus is, and also helping them really figure out a way to systemize their workflows so that they can eventually hire out like an assistant or a team member who can manage that role for them so that they release duties as their business grows and not try and wear all of the hats yourself once your business is growing because you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel
Yeah,
it.
definitely a burnout real quick.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and I saw that you really stress the importance of like the inquiry form. So like
Mhm.
what are some of like the biggest mistakes that you're seeing people make with their inquiry forms?
Yes. So I literally did. I'm doing a challenge today, and earlier this morning I was talking about the inquiry form as well. So I find that sometimes when we are creating an inquiry form, we have questions on there that we can actually gather once somebody is already booked. Like, what's the location? What are your skincare concerns? Do you have acne? What are the inspiration photos? So when you're creating your inquiry form, you want to get the base questions to qualify to see if that client is someone who you want to work with. So since my team and I, we work in 4 different states, there are some intentional questions that I would ask over somebody who only services their local market. So for me and my team, we predominantly focus on large bridal parties. So of course, we're going to need to know how many people are getting their hair done, how many people are getting their makeup done. Because if I see one bride hair, one bride makeup, I'm probably going to recommend them to somebody else who's a solo artist, so that me and my team can work that 16 hair, 16 makeup wedding, so we can prioritize more of that bigger income than those smaller segments. So I'm very intentional about how can I simplify this so that I am not in my email like, okay, well, what about this? Well, what about that? I need all of the base information up front so that as we continue, I already know at the beginning, this is my person who I want to pursue and I want to book with me.
Got you. That makes so much sense, because I think that those are like the questions that you don't really need that information yet, because like you don't even know if they're going to book you. So why do you want to know about the makeup inspiration and all of those things?
Glam or soft glam?
As this soft glam, oh gosh. Anyways, the word soft glam is just like gone crazy. But do you have any tips on for bridal artists to attract those ideal clients to the inquiry form to get like better conversion, like to actually convert them into like booking and then using your services?
Yes. So this is something that I'm big on, because once I became very analytical, I started to see, okay, how well is my inquiry form converting? Am I getting, 50% of price shoppers and 50% people who are booking, or is it 20/70, right? So what I had to do was I had to go to the source. What are they doing before they inquire? They're most likely going to be on your website. They're going to be on your Facebook, your Instagram, your TikTok, wherever you are showing up. And the way to really help a client determine, do I want to reach out to Jasmine? Do I want to reach out to Brittany? Do I want to reach out to Heather? Is through your content and what you're saying consistently. So we're big on talking about elevated version of yourself, 2.0 glam. I like to say we work with the laid back bride who wants to look and feel like herself. So they know this is not the Kim K transformation station. Like that's not our style. That's not what we do. But other artists who do that, they are rocking it out. Okay. But that is not your girl's aesthetic over here.
Right.
So we try and keep a consistent message in our content, what we're saying in our imagery, so that throughout the entire inquiry process, they know, okay, this is a team who is focusing on, a mixed race bridal party. We know that they're travel only. We know that this is their style. So if I want that retro look or that over the top glam look, I know that I probably don't need to inquire with them, because that's not going to be cohesive to their style. So the more you can actually stay cohesive with your marketing, what you're saying, and the visuals that you're putting out there, that can help your conversion rates. Also, having starter rate prices on your website, or at least somewhere available online, so people know what range, not the actual price point, but what range you're starting at, so that they can say, okay, she's charging $1,000 package. I'm looking for somebody who charges like $75 or something like that. So it just kind of simplifies the process the more specific you can be in your contact prior to them reaching out.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I know a lot of people are so not like hush hush with their rates, but they would rather like somebody reach out first and then like tell them how much it costs. But I like the idea of having some kind of like benchmark or a starter to say like this is where it starts, and then you'll bump it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
For whatever you want. Once they're in your ecosystem though, like what are the ways that you nurture your client up at like from the point of inquiring to do your services, and then they agree? Like, how do you nurture them from that point up until like the wedding day?
Yes. So this is where I like to talk a little bit about having strategy in your systems. So in 2018, I was learning about passive income. That's when I first started to learn about passive income. So throughout my process, so once somebody actually becomes my book bride, we have different things that we recommend to them in different stages or phases of their experience. So if I know that a bride is getting married, next year, May 2023, and we typically plan for a trial run 3 or 4 months prior to their wedding, around the 6 month mark, I'm going to send them an email saying, hey, let's start planning for your trial. And I'm going to include some recommendations links of, different bridal hair accessories, our favorite skincare products. And of course, those can also be linked to your affiliate page. You can sign up for so many different ways that you can become an affiliate for different products. Amazon, different brands have affiliate products as well. But that's just one of the backend strategies that allows us to nurture our clients as well as make passive income while we're doing it. And our clients feel well taken care of, like, oh my gosh, I was over here trying to figure out what should I do? And I just provided everything for them, just making the experience seamless for them.
Yeah, I absolutely love that, because I think that's part of the reason why I'm like, oh my God, Bridal, because like they book you for like next year. So like the question that just popped in my head for maybe other bridal artists is like, how do you manage the money in that way? Because if they're like giving you a deposit now for next year, then you got to wait for next year for like the balance.
Yeah.
Like, how are you
Like
managing
the remaining balance?
Like, how do you?
Yeah, so one thing that has really helped me is having some kind of spreadsheet. I am not an original spreadsheet lover. I am more of a pen and paper kind of girl. But when you are getting payments from those clients, one thing that you definitely want to do is keep track of what's going in, what's going out, and having separate bank accounts. So I have a separate bank account where I have, money for my team, and then I have, expenses for like my CRM system, Canva Pro, all of those places, Zoom. And this is going to help you really become a little bit better when it comes to managing your money and your finances, just so you have an over eye bird's view of what's coming in and what's coming out. But what I do that's a little bit different from a lot of people is I actually allow my brides, every single one of my brides are on payment plans. So I know for a lot of bridal pros, they get paid like 2 weeks in advance, or sometimes on the day of. We start to collect payments 3 months in advance. And it's been broken down segments. And this just lets me know also, if you have like any kind of cancellation fees, like you already know that you already have, oh, well, if you cancel, then we require, 50% of, whatever it is. But if they cancel and you're only collecting money, 2 weeks prior or on the day of, you have to rely on that client to send a balance for canceling versus having that money up front. That's something that I shifted into my business model back in 2018 when we experienced a really bad hurricane season, and I made no money at all because I was getting paid on the day of. And we had brides who were saying, oh, well, we can't even get into the town. Their weddings were in downtown Charleston. And if you ever went to downtown Charleston, when it rains, it floods in like 5 minutes.
Wow.
So like people were like in their canoes going down the street. It was crazy. Power was gone. And I realized, okay, my business made no money this month. How can I make sure that in the future I prevent this? What are some systems? What are some processes that I can start doing? So that's when I started to learn about the passive income. And that's when I started to shift my payment model to make a little bit more sense for me. So yeah, managing your money, seeing what comes in, what goes out, and having those separate bank accounts.
Yes. Okay. I love that. I love the tips.
Of course.
So for those people who are ready to scale their business, I heard you mention something about growing in phases, and I absolutely love that, because we have like this big picture and we're like, we just want that. Yeah. So what does it actually look like to like grow in phases and like just break your stuff down so you're not overwhelming yourself and you're actually getting stuff done?
Yes. So growing in phases is something that I had to learn because I'm hard-headed and I'm a Scorpio. So I just wanted to do everything all at once, just like you said. But I broke it down, and those phases are the development phase. So let's say you want to create a new content strategy, right? How do you develop the profile? How do you develop the content strategy? And then the second phase is test. How do you test it out? How are we going to create new types of content? Try this angle, try this photo, try this verbiage, try these hashtags. How are we going to test it out? And once we actually test it out and we see what works, then we automate it. So I literally continue that 3-step process: develop, test, automate when it comes to any area of my business. If it's on social media, if it's a contact form, if it's email templates that I'm using in my business, my website, I want to develop it out first. Ask myself, what do I actually need on this page? What words do I want to say? What images do I want to include? Test it out. In the testing phase, you want to check your analytics. So Instagram analytics, Facebook analytics, your website analytics, wherever you are, you need to become friends with your analytics to see what is actually working. And that's where I started to see where my gaps were. If I saw that 100 people went to my contact form, but only 50 people actually submitted a contact form, I know, okay, well, maybe I can change the verbiage on my contact form. Maybe I can change the imagery. Maybe I can shorten the questions so I can see, okay, well, I just changed it. Now 75 people are coming to my contact form and filling it out versus 50% of the people just kind of seeing it and going. So I became very analytical with everything that I do, and people who know me, they would probably be like, what?
Right. Who that?
Analytical, because I'm a jokester. So just making it make sense for you and simplifying the process. Sometimes I feel like we don't know where to focus first, but if you do it in those 3 phases, I feel like it's going to be a little bit less overwhelmed for you.
Yeah, I love that. And I always say, I had this old coach that used to say everything is a hypothesis. Just like how we used to have like science fairs and science experiments, like you just have to test things out. I think a lot of times we just kind of jump into things and just think it's going to work, and it doesn't all the time. So we have to test it out. But like, how much time would you say people should how much time would you recommend people taking to build out the back end, like their systems, like their funnels and things like that, like those follow-up emails and all those things?
I would say the time that it takes, my dog was over here yelling at people. I would say the time that it takes to develop out those processes, I would say give yourself at least a month. Give yourself at least a month so that you can see people going through your phase, seeing people like checking out your content, going to your website, going through your emails, to actually see it in action and to see what gaps are there. I feel like sometimes what ends up happening, and what I did for myself, is I would kind of create something and then I would just automate it instantly without even testing it out. And then I found myself kind of going back and making a lot of customizations would actually slow down the process. So I would create a template and then I would say, well, let me just add, this little quick sentence to her email. And then I would kind of see another person. I'd be like, well, let me just add this right here. But we don't realize that those small tweaks are costing us, minutes and then hours and then days. So take 1 month and just focus on one area. How can I perfect my inquiry process up until me getting a proposal signed? So if we do it in that way, I feel like you accomplish more in that time frame, because we're not trying to work on the inquiry phase and work on our proposal and our brochures, and then what happens in the back end. And that's where I saw a lot of a struggle for myself, because I was task switching so much, and that is what really led to my overwhelm when I was building, before I had a step-by-step way to do it. So I would say about a month to test it out.
Okay. All right, so let's have some fun real quick. Let's play Never Have I Ever. So I'm going to give you a never have I ever statement. And if this has happened to you, like, tell us the story behind it. Okay. But if this happens to somebody on your team, like, how would you instruct them to handle this situation?
Okay.
All right. So never have I ever had a bridesmaid or mother of the bride request to look better than the bride. Has that ever happened to you before? Hey, I know you're enjoying the episode, but I have something to tell you real quick. Did you know that I created a Patreon? Look, podcasting is fun. I absolutely love it, but it is not cheap. And there have been so many people who have reached out to me that want to support the show somehow and keep the good vibes flowing. So I thought, why not create a Patreon? For as little as $3 a month, you can support the Friends of Beauty podcast and join a community of other loyal supporters of the show, just like you, okay? There are other tier levels available that unlock tons of exclusive Patreon-only content like behind-the-scenes clips, bonus interview content, monthly calls with me, discounts, and so much more. But no matter what tier level you decide to choose, I appreciate you so much, and I'm going to give you a shout out on the podcast when you join. So if you'd like to be a part of the exclusive Patreon community for the Friends of Beauty podcast, I'll leave the link right here and down below in the show notes for you to join. And as always, I appreciate your support so, so much. Now, let's go ahead and jump back into the episode.
It has. And it wasn't a bridesmaid. It was actually the mother of the groom.
Girl, what?
Oh man, it was crazy. This was actually not for my company. This was when I was working for another company. And I remember I showed up at her hotel, and she had her Prada dress and her Jimmy Choo shoes and her little fur jacket. And she was like, listen, I know I need to be ready at 1:00, but they can wait for me. I said, oh my God.
She played with fire.
I was like, okay. Even though I still made sure that she was ready on time, she was purposefully just taking her time. She was like, what earrings should I wear? Oh, my son is calling me. Oh, he's okay. He's fine. I was like, this little lady she's going through it right now, but she tipped me amazingly well. But yeah, it was the mother of the groom.
That is crazy. That actually happened to me before. I think it was like the mother of the bride was like, made me look better. I was like, you would never look better than the bride. Like, girl, sit down somewhere. Stop it.
Oh man,
that is crazy. Excuse me. Do you have any thoughts on a la carte pricing? Like, how do you feel about that?
So I do a la carte pricing, but my a la carte pricing, I was just talking about this yesterday. I was talking about how some people, like, say if they have 6 bridesmaids, and it's like, oh, when you book, 5 or more bridesmaids, then it's going to be cheaper. For me and my team, the price is going to be the price regardless of the number of people, because I would never want my team to go out and say, hey girl, even though you did 8, we charged them for 6. They know how much they're going to make after commission or our flat rate prices. So I feel like that kind of takes away from the artist, and you're using the same amount of product, but then you're getting less money. So I like to do just price by price, the a la carte pricing, and the price is going to be the exact same no matter the head count.
I'm over here laughing because I just posted a reel this morning about that.
Yeah.
It was like, it's that all that trending audio that's like, girl, no, like, girl.
Oh my God.
I put like, when the client asked like, how much is it for like 2 of my friends want to come? I'm like, the price is still the same. It's still the same.
The price is the price.
Yeah, the price is the price. Okay. Yeah. What ways have you seen the bridal industry, or I guess the bridal beauty business, change since the pandemic, and like how you're able to like service your clients?
Yes. So one thing is really showcasing how you are different aside from pretty hair and pretty makeup. Mm-hmm. So this is very big. This is one thing that I felt really grew and expanded my business. And it was because, other than just posting like the pretty quotes, like she's blowing in the wind, glowing in the moonlight, or whatever those quotes are. I'm not that poetic, but we would just kind of post these pretty quotes, or like makeup by me, hair by me. But if somebody is actually inquiring with 6 or 8 other hair or makeup artists, like, what is really separating you from them other than your aesthetic? Because nowadays, so many people are working on their aesthetic. They're taking classes, taking courses, And the thing that separates you is your brand values, what you stand for, your company culture, and what people really know about you when it comes to your reputation. So for us, talking a little bit about diversity and inclusion, talking a little bit about accepting all types of loves. We work with same-sex couples all the time, and just really standing out in a way to bring some personality to our brand. So that has definitely been something that has been changing in the area, because people, they want to know what you stand for, and if they can support what you support through your company. So that's one thing that definitely has changed for sure.
Absolutely. This is random, but do you think that the rate that you charge brides kind of correlates to the experience that you would have with them? Like if you have like a low rate, then like you kind of attract like certain type of people.
So I would say yes and no, because I would say no because some people honestly don't know what hair and makeup should charge, or what is the average price point.
Yeah.
So I've had brides in the past who have said like, hey, I worked with somebody and they only charged this amount and it wasn't what I thought it would be, or they've been, searching around, and then they go to somebody who has a little bit more of a premium price point, and then they see how the experience is a little bit different. Somebody who is doing it full time or not a hobbyist or whatever it is. But when it comes to the more premium price point, I always hear people being scared because they think they're going to attract like, pain in the butt brides, like the bougie bride who is like, I want this and you better do it like that. And I feel like that's more of a mindset thing, because the clients that we work with, some of them, they're bloggers, they're content creators, they're podcast hosts, and they are very down to earth and they're very sweet and very genuine. So I feel like with the price point, you definitely can charge with the experience whenever you are charging a more elevated price point. But I'll say the types of clients, not necessarily, because some, they have no idea. Sometimes it's their first time booking hair and makeup, so they don't know what to expect.
Gotcha. I love that. I love this conversation. I don't even want to let you go. I want to just keep talking to you. But at the end of the day, like, what do you want your legacy to be with your bridal team, or just like the business and environment that you're creating and curating?
Yeah. So definitely for the legacy that I'm creating, I want something that I can pass along to my kids once I am gone off of this earth. I've been looking into so many different ways that I can really continue my brand in a way that doesn't require me to be in it. So that's something that I'm working on with my business right now that I'm super excited about, collecting royalties and all of those things. But I definitely just want my brand legacy to kind of remain how it is right now, being accepting of, any and everyone, all kinds of backgrounds, being able to service, a wide range of clients, and just being, an amazing, amazing company with an amazing experience with amazing staff.
I love that. Anything coming up next for you or your brand?
Oh my gosh. Well, one of the biggest things that's coming up is a book feature. I'm going to be featured in a book. I think before the end of this year is up, which I'm very excited about. It's called Inspiring Women Who Boss Up. And I am one of the 9 or one of the 8 amazing girl bosses. They're not all in the beauty area, just so many different backgrounds. But I was reached out to because of my story and just kind of like sharing, the ups and downs of business and really giving some motivation to people. So that's speaking and just continuing to grow.
Yes, that's so exciting. Definitely keep me posted on that so I can share it with the community.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so before you go, I have to ask you the Friends in Beauty rapid fire questions. So whatever comes to your mind first, I think you'll be great. You're so amazing. You'll be great at this. So the first one, just give us, what are your top 3 keys to your success so far?
Top 3 keys to my success is always putting myself in uncomfortable environments. Number 2 is, other than making it an excuse, ask myself, how can I still make it possible? Number 3 is always working on personal development. So those are my top 3.
Okay. And how do you measure your success?
Ooh, I measure my success by what feels good. I used to measure it by money, like, oh my gosh, if I work hard to take more clients. But nowadays, as I'm planning for a family after I just got married, I just want something that feels effortless. I want something that feels good to me, that I am excited to do when I wake up and, connect with people. So I would definitely say by the feeling.
Okay. And what's the best advice you've ever received or a piece of advice that just always stuck with you?
Oh, the best piece of advice came from two different people in two different scenarios. One was one of my cosmetology teachers, and one was one of my managers when I used to work at H&M. And it was closed mouths don't get fed. So I'm an introverted extrovert, so I had to learn how to speak up for myself. So that is definitely a piece of advice that has definitely helped me.
I love that. What advice would you give to like another bridal team owner right now who is just not seeing the results that they want in their business? And they're like, you know what? I'm about to just go get me 5 jobs and just, call it quits.
Yeah, I'll definitely say definitely go back and listen to what I was talking about the development phase, test phase, and automated phase, and really start to dissect different areas of your brand to see like what is going on, what is the root cause of this issue, so that we're not trying to put a band-aid on it. We're actually fixing the core issue that is present in our business. And sometimes we don't even know where to start. So when we dissect it, it's a little bit digestible to actually see what's going on, what needs to happen so that you can create the right thing.
Absolutely. What's a resource that has helped you in your business that you can share with the friends and beauty community?
Oh man, I would definitely say podcast and YouTube for sure. Anything when it comes to just searching, getting very specific in your search when it comes to how can I do XYZ without, this, or how can I make this happen without, being on social media for 24/7. So definitely using those resources, regardless of where you are financially, you can always find some kind of information that helps you write it down in your notes and put it to use and see how it works for you. So
Okay. And the last one, I just want you to fill in the blank and just say, my name is blank. And the key to longevity and success is whatever you think it is.
Okay. So my name is Jasmine, and the key to longevity and success is being able to create a business that works around your lifestyle so that you don't have to let your business run you.
Yes, Jasmine. Okay. You're just so fire. I just love this conversation so much. Before you go, share your social media information or however you want people to connect with you and your brand.
Yes, so you can find me my podcast, my YouTube, my Instagram, all at Beauty and the Network. You can reach out to me through Gmail at beautyandthenetwork@gmail.com. And I'm always in my Instagram stories talking everybody's heads off. So that's how you can reach me.
Awesome sauce. Thank you so much for this, Jasmine. This was amazing.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. Share this episode with at least one friend in beauty and subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts so that other friends in beauty can find this show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, #Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.